trade deadline coverage for the Cubs. Have they still not acquired a starting pitcher? Come on.
Cubs.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into discussion with you on all things Cubs. Today's episode is presented by 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. Go to 5hourenergy.com today and use promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. Only valid through September 30. Order transfusion-flavored 5 Hour Energy shots today. Cubs Orioles preview later in the show. My dad and I will be at the game on Saturday. I'll be an emotional time. Excited about that. Cubs for a Cure game. We would love to see listeners at Wrigley Field. Say hello. It'd be great. We're going to round up all the moves of the current, at least of the current 6 teams that would be in the playoffs today in the National League. And we start with the Cubs moves at the trade deadline, which as of this moment are Michael Soroka, Andrew Kittredge, Willi Castro, and Taylor Rogers in that order. Sam, we're going to break this down, but this team entered this deadline period with a glaring need of a starting pitcher, preferably one that could slot in basically behind Boyd and Imanaga. And they didn't do it.
I don't know what to say. I've mentioned on the program, it's been a little bit of a crazy week for me. And I just, everybody was texting me and, hey, what? And I just kept saying, just be patient. They're going to get a starter here, like a non-Soroka starter. They got the B option bat in Castro because they didn't want to, for whatever reason, top the Mariners trade, which I thought they could have done
for Suarez,
easily for Suarez. Then, they get Kittredge. I'll have a glass of water for that. Rogers fine, and
you must be dehydrated. Go ahead.
Soroka's fine if that's your second guy.
Right.
Not get a frontline starter here. And to be honest, to not even get a legitimate back-end reliever. I mean, you are now relying to win a division championship against the best team in all the land. You now need Palencia to be great the rest of the year. You have no margin for error there, okay? You need Keller to continue to be great. And then starting pitching-wise, it's going to be Boyd, who his last start, he didn't look the same. I mean, this is a guy that's thrown tons or has not thrown tons of innings at all. You're going to be asking him to be your ace leading into October alongside Imanaga, Horton, Soroka, Tyone, Assad. I mean, this is one word and one word only. Unserious. Is Tucker?
It's a colossal failure.
Is Tucker gone? I mean, are they just moving on? And so, hey, Kate, we're playing the long haul. Now that Jed got an extension. Hey, I know I'm not re-signing Tucker, so I got to hold on to Casey. I know I'm not re-signing Tucker. And now that I'm going to be here for the next 5 years, I can't lose that type of prospect. I already lost one in Cam Smith. I can't lose one in Casey. Can't lose Smith and Casey if I know I'm not signing Tucker. Nothing is good here.
I never really understood the Casey thing because you could sign another outfielder or make a trade that's not even on our radar to replace Tucker if he does indeed leave. Like, you're not going to give the keys to Casey immediately on day one necessarily. I mean, they did that with Shaw. even though he went back to AAA, then came back up. But we see how that has gone. There's a lot of growing pains with that. Same thing happened with PCA. I can't imagine after a star leaving, they would just give the keys to Casey. That's why I never really understood why he was such a prized chip in that sense, Sam. And if they held on to their prospects purely for insurance on just organic turnover that's going to happen this offseason and next, I think that is a problem because of all the turnover you're going to have. It starts with Tucker. After next year, it's Happ, Seiya, Boyd, Tyone, Horner. The list really goes on. And yes, you have controllable young talent like Shaw and Pete and Bush. Swanson's here for a while. Steele's still here for a little while. The Palencia, there's others as well. But these days do allow yourself to dip your toe into the big picture, which I don't like to do that much. Because my goals were always short term. How can the Cubs make a run in the postseason? Well, they could do that by acquiring another starting pitcher. And so I get the discussion about Tucker in the long term, but even what you're making present, Sam, about, okay, what happens just the rest of the way to even possibly get to the playoffs? How does that even line up? I mean, it's possible, don't get me wrong, that these guys, Boyd, Imanaga, Horton, Ray, Brown, Tyone, Assad, Soroka, possibly others could contribute well, just like a lot of them have already.
Doesn't matter though.
But there's no impact there.
But even if it goes well, they're winning against the way you're supposed to do things here. Okay. Look at what the Padres,
and
Mets.
You just mean by being conservative, right?
They didn't do anything. They didn't come out of their box. Life's about coming out of your comfort zone every now and then. People
were upset with the Soroka return. I didn't really understand that. Who cares?
But here's what bothers me the most. Inconsistent maneuvering. You give up Cam Smith, Wisniewski, Paredes, and essentially Bellinger to go get Tucker, and then you sit on your hands at the deadline? Pick a lane, right? Pick a lane. We're either not going to make those type of moves or we are. They didn't even. I mean, I was told by every single person in the industry for months, oh, the Cubs are all in. Sam, they're all in. And to the point where they were like, it's not going to be good how all in they are. Like they are going to get anybody to go win this division and do what they can. And these are the moves. Soroka, Kittredge, Rogers, and Castro. I like if it was Soroka, Castro, and then a legitimate back end arm
Cabrera
and a Cabrera. Hey, okay, but
we know they had discussions about Cabrera with the Marlins and Gore with the Nationals even today, but they didn't close the door on those guys. They didn't do it.
According to Jacob Zanola, the Cubs do not have any more trade deadline moves coming.
Oh, shout out to Jacob.
So,
we there is this buffer zone occasionally. Nomar was in the buffer zone. Castellanos.
After the trade deadline, on paper, here are the following teams that are better than the Cubs. Ready and go. Dodgers, Padres, Brewers, maybe. Mets, Philadelphia.
And the Brewers didn't make any moves.
Yeah, I wouldn't make a ton of moves either if I didn't have any money. And in the last 50 games, I win 38 of them.
They have the best record in baseball. Yeah,
we're chasing them.
Well, and on paper, it's really not even close. Especially when you look at what the Padres did, which we're going to get to later in the show. But this is pretty amazing what happened. It's a massive story that they held out. I would love to know, did they hold out because of the prices? Was Hoyer skittish as usual? Right? The only time he really got
that's why they held
uncomfortable
out.
was Cam Smith. What?
That's why they held out. They're going to say the prices were ridiculous.
But what are they trying to do this year then? Are they just trying to make the playoffs?
Clearly.
Make the playoffs. Anything else after that is gravy.
Clearly, the worst thing that happened this week was Hoyer getting extended.
Wow.
He should have been told, you got to get to this point in order to get your job back. Once he got extended, his mind went to, well, hey, listen, if I can't trade Casey and Smith and this, and then and Matt, I got to say, I mean, what would you say the odds are that Tucker's back here? Because he's thinking about next year. If I lose Tucker or Casey, I honestly hope they make the playoffs. I hope they get in.
So based on what happened today, you think that despite sitting today, them having a 98, 99-ish% chance to make the postseason, you think that spot is in jeopardy? Shout out to Ken Jennings.
I don't think it's in jeopardy, but I look at this has been a 500 team now for a while. And
it's June 19th, yeah.
And they got a little bit better overall, and teams around them got a lot better.
All right, let's keep discussing this because it's a great topic. It's just a great topic we have here.
It's a bad take.
And we're going to keep discussing the trade deadline. And so are we sure there's no move, Sam? You positive?
Doesn't sound like it, unless you want to talk more about Kittredge.
Well, we will eventually, I believe.
Here's a post-deadline deal. The Royals acquired Mike Yastrzemski from the Giants.
Oh, wow. Interesting. All right, we talk more deadline next. Today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Let's be honest, some days on the course or off it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. What's the wildest shot you've ever made on the golf course? Was it a total fluke? Was it well calculated? You need that shot of energy. Okay, it's a long day out there. You're working hard. Good times with good people on the course. If you go to 5hourenergy.com right now, that is the number 5, hourenergy.com. You can use my promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. This offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promos. This code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-hour energy shots today. We're back here on Locked On Cubs. Appreciate everybody joining us live on YouTube, and shout out to all the audio peeps on your preferred feed, Apple, Spotify, and everywhere else. Cubs got Michael Soroka, Andrew Kittredge, Willi Castro, and Taylor Rogers. By my count, that's basically 3 relievers and a utility player. But we'll see what they do with Soroka, Sam.
He'll start.
Who could be a starter or a reliever, whether it's multi-inning or one inning. His velo dropped recently, but the real ERA of 4.87, expected ERA of 3.32, gives some optimism to the better Cubs defense as opposed to the Nationals booting the ball around, that he could have success here. He's also has a high strikeout rate, 25% of hitters. Andrew Kittredge, good amount of Ks as well, good amount of ground balls. Same with Taylor Rogers, and he's a matchup lefty, really low ERA on him, 2.45 in 34 innings. And then Willi Castro fortifies things at third and the outfield especially.
That's the best move they made.
Yeah, 278 average against lefties. He's been cold lately. But
great.
I guess And here's the other thing. So they bring in 4 new players, which is not a small number. And then you have Tyone and Amaya, who are for sure coming back. They have major league spots, 100%. Assad might be optioned to AAA when he's ready. So you have 6 guys you need to add to the roster then. Tyone, Amaya, plus these 4 deadline acquisitions. That's a lot of flux of your roster that ultimately, again, so far have put in results, and they have won a lot of games despite being cold the last month and a half, close to 2 months. I'm really curious who leaves the roster because they didn't trade anyone off the major league roster. So don't really like the volume play there, especially knowing that they only got improved a little bit. But it just comes back to the rotation. They have literally a bottom 7 rotation in baseball, and they didn't improve it. How does that happen?
They just got marginally better. Castro's
slightly better.
Castro's a margin play. Soroka's a margin play. You hope he turns into something really good. And both relievers are margin plays. The only thing that I'll say, if you want something to be positive about, is that now it's time to take the kid gloves off Owen Casey. It's time to take the kid gloves off Ballesteros. If guys like Ian Happ continue to not produce, you're going to see some of those dudes play, and you're going to see them play regularly. But all of this just goes all under the umbrella of what is the plan here? Like and that's always been my biggest criticism of Jed, is I don't know what the plan is. The plan's to build the next great Cubs team. Well, pretty much the whole team, their contracts are up
departing. They're
after
this
year or next year.
Yeah.
So if this wasn't the time to go get a Joe Ryan or Gore or Cabrera, what is the plan here? Is the plan just to be good enough where we're blessed to have 1,500 people live with us because they're at least good enough to be interesting? I mean, what's the plan? What's the goal? I don't understand. It just feels like this was the offseason all over again at the deadline. They made more splashes at the deadline when they stunk.
It seems like the goal is just to punch a playoff ticket and see what happens in the tournament.
They got Paredes last year. That was a huge thing we didn't see coming, and they were a bad club. The year before, they went out and got Candelario. This year, I guess, okay, they got Castro. I got to talk to a lot of people that give me my info that guaranteed me that the Cubs were all in. If they're about as all in, maybe all in for the 3rd wild card.
Well, as recently as yesterday, Ken Rosenthal said they were all in.
And I don't care, by the way. Like, if the Cubs rattle off 15 of 20, that's great. I'll root for them. I don't care. I don't care. This process still is just sitting on your hands, and
the acquisition process.
Yeah, trying to balance on the balance beam without falling off. And
I'm optimistic about the team still, despite today's.
Optimistic how?
Optimistic that Tucker's going to bounce
back. That they can win a world championship.
Well, not today.
Okay.
But you're talking to the guy that brought up the World Series and got criticized for it.
Well, when they wanted to win the World Series, they went out and got the absolute best dude that they could get.
And granted, that year they basically had one hole on their team.
Yeah, they only had one hole, and they filled it with the best guy out there. I can't wait to Game 3 of the Wild Card Series when Soroka takes the bump. And by the way,
it'd be Horton.
I actually think Soroka's a good pickup. But
I do too.
It's just the same. Like
all of these pickups are good in quotation marks.
The only chance that they have now is Jed always talks about outperforming expectations. Boyd now. They have no margin of error with Boyd. They have no margin of error with Imanaga. Both those guys have to be pristine for this to work the last 2 months of the year. They have no margin of error for Palencia.
Tyone's got to step up.
What if Palencia hits a wall? Right. Then what? Keller closes, and then it goes Kittredge to him.
Yeah. Or Presley. If he's still on the team.
All we heard all offseason long was if this team's good at the deadline, they will go all in. And they put in nothing. I mean, they didn't give up. I mean, anybody. I'm telling you, I think this extension set all this up. And I think Cam Smith being really good is really hurt Jed's confidence.
Yeah, I don't think they so-called overpaid for anybody that they acquired, any of the 4 guys.
Breaking news.
Yeah.
The Milwaukee Brewers did make a move.
No way.
They acquired Shelby Miller, one of your targets.
Oh, boy.
So I'd go as far as to say he's probably a better reliever than the 2 guys that the Cubs acquired. Oh.
Well, so the Brewers got Shelby Miller. The Dodgers, did they just get Brock Stewart and that was it, or did I miss something?
I didn't see what the Dodgers did.
Mets got Helsley, Rogers, and Mullins. Pretty good deadline. Phillies, Duran, and Bader. Padres, let me know if I'm missing someone. Miller, Sears, Fermin, O'Hearn, and Laureano. I don't mean to laugh. But...
Can I read you a tweet from Michael Cerami from Bleacher Nation?
And is anyone talking about the Padres prospects that they gave up besides the one in the A's trade?
Dodgers got Alex Call. That's right.
Oh, Alex Call.
This is a tweet from Michael Cerami, Bleacher Nation. I think it's perfectly put.
Go.
If the prices were too high, you don't have enough talent, and that's also your fault.
Yeah, I thought today could have been an indictment on the system as well. There's not a lot of high ceilings in the system besides Wiggins, maybe Ballesteros. Casey does not project as a high ceiling guy, at least not in any of the write-ups prior to opening day. If anything,
but look at the guys
was viewed better.
Look at the guys that went for Suarez. They could make that move.
They could have.
Hey, listen, at least they still got that extra $27.5 million for that Bellinger deal with Poteet.
They could have made that move. But I do think today is an indictment partly on the system. The system isn't as good in other teams' eyes. How do you not draw that conclusion? I don't think that's a reach at all.
But I also think that they want, they came out with that report in the middle of the day. Cubs are trying to make trades, but they're not going to give up Ballesteros. Well, then you're not going to make the deal.
Exactly. And, I could see another.
How did Talkman not get traded?
I could see they like his leadership. The other train of thought that I could see is, we could get Gore or Cabrera in the offseason. Well, next year, you're not going to have Kyle Tucker.
Yep.
So why wouldn't you get one of those dudes now when your lineup is presumably better? Unless, again, I don't have a crystal ball, unless they're going to make the team better. The lineup, I'm saying the offense, better than it is now. But for the most part, despite even a few cold spells, this offense has done their jobs right up until the last, especially couple weeks. The problem is pitching. To supplement the roster with pitching, because I could be sold on Matt Shaw at third, even though the Suarez price, it looked like the Cubs could have topped it. But to go Boyd, Imanaga, Tyone.
If they were playing a 3-game series for a playoff tomorrow, game 3 would be a bullpen game.
Well, it'd be Horton.
I think they'd go Horton and it would be maybe to somebody after him. It's not like they would let him go 6-7 innings in a playoff game unless he was.
Well, he go 2 times through.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And hey, listen, there's the other side of this too, Matt.
Which is
maybe Jed doesn't think this team's that good, and he didn't want to go all in for a team that he doesn't think is very good.
Really?
Could be. I don't know. I'm just trying to think.
Oh, that would be sad.
There's got to be an explanation other than, the prices were too high. You have the second best record in baseball.
When's Jed scheduled to speak? I should know that. I apologize. I would say tomorrow morning at the latest, but it might be even tonight, Sam.
It'll probably be tonight.
By the way, the team the team that lost Kyle Tucker, Alex Bregman, and others are legit World Series contenders despite those losses. And they pounced big time today, the Houston Astros.
Maybe Wiggins comes up. Maybe Wiggins comes up to start. I mean, hey, they have plenty of depth now. They got like when Tyone and Assad come back, they're gonna have like eight of the same exact starters.
They have depth for sure.
I look at Soroka, Tyone, Assad, Horton, Ray, Wiggins. They're all in the same box to me.
Yes. All right.
Cubs Orioles preview. Great.
Did anybody on the Cubs organization actually say they're all in, or was that all reporting?
All reported.
Okay.
You don't say,
but it's intel from the team.
You don't say that publicly. You lose all value.
Right. All right. We're gonna preview Cubs Orioles series the Cubs should sweep after the Orioles decimated their roster. We preview that right after these words. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Day Hue, and so is this hat I'm wearing. For sports fans like me, this one hits the mark. Game Day Hue makes clean, no-logo gear with team-inspired colors for every pro and college fan base. It's all about letting your colors speak for you. No giant logos, just smart, versatile styles that work on game day, on the course, or anywhere in between. This marooned hat I got sent to me by Game Day Hue is actually the colors of the school I teach at. Excited to rock it this fall on Football Friday nights in the booth there as I do PA announcing at my school. Excited about that. And Game Day Hue sent me a golf glove in Cubs colors. This is their split shade glove made for the golf course, or the perfect gift for the fan who has everything golf related. Right now, you can get 15% off with code MLB15 at GameDayHue.com. That's GameDayHue, HUE.com. Let your colors talk, because colors speak louder than words. GameDayHue.com, code MLB15. Cubs Orioles, 3 games this weekend, all at 1:20 p.m. Cubs for a cure on Saturday. I will be in attendance with my dad for that one. That just came about earlier today, so I'm excited about that. And, well, I think some of these matchups are actually in flux. I think really only Friday is in stone. Horton and Rogers.
Yeah, Rogers is good.
Saturday's TBD and Sagano, and Sunday is Boyd TBD. Ben Brown, I guess, would make that start on Saturday for the Northsiders. Sunday's Orioles starter was supposed to be Charlie Morton, but he is now on the Detroit Tigers. The Orioles suffered major losses the last few days, including a player that's now on the Cubs, Andrew Kittredge. They're one of their best hitters. Ryan O'Hearn is now a Padre. Laureano's a Padre. Ramon Urias is an Astro. So even despite winning 6 of their last 8, they've been a major disappointment in baseball this year, and now they were major sellers. So the Cubs need to take advantage of this from the jump on Friday and win 2 out of 3 for sure. But if they're if they're gonna make a serious statement in spite of what occurred today, Sam, I really think it's got to be to get the brooms out Sunday.
Matt, I love you like a brother, and you're the guy that directs kind of the things here. I don't have the energy to get into Baltimore. I hope the Cubs sweep, and I hope they hit. Couple other news: Jordan Montgomery heading to the Brewers in that deal with Shelby Miller. Jordan Montgomery. So, but
why isn't he a free agent after this year?
I'm sure there'll be some sort of reclamation project where he will look like the second coming of Sandy Koufax in a Brewer uniform at about by mid-June of next year. So
I don't think he's under contract for next year.
Well, he will be.
Well, yeah, they'd have to re-sign him in the offseason. That's weird because isn't he out all this year?
I don't know. I'm not an expert on Montgomery. All I know is that if someone will fix him, it'll be the Brew Crew. Meanwhile,
yeah, he's out with. That's weird. He's out. It's got to be salary relief for Arizona or something.
Matt,
he's not pitching this year. He's a free agent.
I obviously need some time to process. I just can't stomach this part right here. They offered Bregman. They came up short, right? They offered Scott, who ended up that being a blessing in disguise. He's not playing well. And everybody, even Cap came on our show and said, hey, if they're in it at the deadline, Tom will spend and let's go.
And that was before the Tucker trade.
And
Cap was on our show around Thanksgiving.
And they just said, hey, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Hopefully they beat the Orioles.
Right, the standings are in their favor when you talk about like wild card position or standings position.
It's going to be a cool weekend at Wrigley.
They have the second best record in the NL, but are they gonna keep playing that way? That's the big question, even despite what they didn't do. So
I think they easily could have afforded Merrill Kelly based on that return. They could have made that move, and they absolutely could have gotten Suarez with the return there.
Well, why didn't they go for that package then? That seemed like such a no-brainer. If they asked for Casey, okay, work on them with that.
Owen Casey better contribute down the stretch here.
Right, because for Suarez and Kelly, I was saying Suarez, Kelly, and Shelby Miller for Casey, but obviously that's all a fantasy world now, or I guess it was anyways. Well, Cubs Orioles this weekend.
Cool temps. Wind will be blowing in all 3 days.
And
start talking about the wild card. Start looking at the standings. San Diego, how'd they do today? Philly, the Mets.
Well, that's all the Dodgers. That's all the teams. Yeah.
Cincinnati, be careful. They can get hot. You like that Reds team.
That's probably the other team that's on the periphery. Sure. The Brewers go to Washington, D.C. this weekend.
Well, they won't be facing Soroka.
We're thinking the same thing. Well, Sam, I just wanted to say here at the end, I appreciate you and, us being good friends and caring about each other. The audience may not realize it, but I believe that's a reason why the show has gotten to where it is. That's pretty, and anything after that is, it's in the details, but
absolutely.
Let's keep doing this thing.
Yeah.
And, despite the Cubs' decisions, this is still a tremendous fan base. We're so grateful for everything that's happened here. And please continue to join us throughout this season and beyond. All right. Anything else?
Yeah. As a gift of friendship, maybe I'll send you a windbreaker for Saturday's game.
Oh, what happened to my sound? Right.
That's a bad take.
He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.
Shout out to Matt Cozy and Sam Olber, hosts of my favorite podcast, Locked On Cubs.